Alright, so I wanted to give you a quick little video as to how to set one of these up. So this is the smaller tripod. Essentially, you spread the legs out. There's a certain point where the legs actually don't touch the ground anymore. You want to get them as wide as you can. And typically what I like to do is if I'm on the center line, I try and get the leg in front of you so that you have a bit of range of motion here to move around. So once you have that kind of set, obviously you want to try and get this as level as you can. So you tighten that down, and that basically secures the bottom. The next item you need to do is, this will obviously be in a case, but this is the tilt head. This basically goes into here. I'll show you that in a minute. So you basically need to secure the camera to this. I have a Canon HFS 200 with a larger Wasabi power battery. This also comes with a charger that plugs into the wall, like so, and then the battery's screwed into it like this. Allows you to charge the battery separate from the camera. That's something you can get on Amazon for it's low 40s, I'd say, for a dollar amount. So put the battery on. In this, I've put some extra holes, and essentially what that is for is to balance the camera to the cable set. So when the cable set is heavier, as in the taller tripods, you need to mount the camera farther out to kind of counterbalance the weight of the cable set. With this, it's a very light cable set, so you need to basically almost balance the camera on the tilt head. So just checking, it seems like it's about right. I might actually want to move it back just one more. And this has kind of what's called a captive nut. So I have threads in the aluminum here, and then this nut part threads into that, and then at some point there's a part of the nut that doesn't have threads, so it'll actually just spin. Usually what I do is I tighten it, get it snug, and kind of turn the camera in so it doesn't move on there. Open up your clamp here and slide that in and tighten the clamp. And we'll want to tilt forward. Then basically you take the cable set. Mine has two different plugins. Mine has the light connector on the lens side, and there's a little pocket here for the HDMI connector. On the newer Canon cameras, I believe the both connectors are on the, I guess you'd say the right side of the camera. So that essentially is setting up the camera. Usually what I do is check it real quick, turn the power on, and make sure that I have enough battery and that my SD card is in place and ready to go. Looks like everything's plugged in correctly. Let's see here. And then usually I just turn it off. And then taking the, kind of this a little bit turned around a little bit, but taking the first clamp loose, raise this up, and raise this one all the way up. But if you'll notice on these, if I pull too far, it will actually come out. And I put some lines on here. This one's at about 8 inches, the second one's at 6, the next one's at 5. Typically you want, I like to go with about 8 inches of overlap on each section. If you do, I'll show you what happens. If you pull it out and you have the thing all the way up, you could tip it over and hurt somebody. So be very careful that you don't overextend it. Hence those lines that are on there. So I'm gonna just do each section a little ways here because I'm gonna run out of interior ceiling height. So I'll just do each one up a little bit. This one up a little as well. Oops. Each section locks. This one will go up, and I probably want it to go up. And it's about as high as I can go. Now what I'm going to do is loosen this second clamp up. And I'll, you know what, I'm up too high with that one. Drop this down just a little. The reason that is because this one, the last section, when you pull it out, this basically is you put this pin through the hole and let it back down, and basically what it does is that basically rides on this UHMW. The newer ones have a brass bearing there, allows it to turn. Then what you do is adjust your hand control. And I'm going to turn that and put my hand control to about a comfortable height. I need a little bit lower. So maybe about there. I'm right-handed, so I want it over here. This is basically the length control for it. You take that and thread this into the coupler nut here. Maybe turn it in 3 times or so, and then tighten up the backup nut to it. The cable set on the bigger ones, it comes on a different reel. This one, it's just a small little, it's almost like a kite winder. Makes it kind of handy to reel up. And try to keep the ends off the dirt if you can. So I'm just going to set that there for now. The next item will come in your package. Will be this monitor kit. So it'll come like this. Monitor comes in a bag, and all your accessories, the charger, there's a few other adapters that come with it are in the bottom of the case. The charger is probably the most important one because you're going to use that quite regularly. So there's a peel-off paper here to get for when you have a new monitor. Be careful to peel that off rather delicately because that paper doesn't really come off that easily, but we'll open it up there a little bit. On the back of this, there is a captive or another nut. This is the bracket that adapts the monitor to the tripod. And if you're right-handed, you will want to have it like this so that the monitor is off to the left of the stand. And you want to tighten that up to where it's somewhat tight, and then you say you want it on this, or if you say you want it a little bit higher, you can actually, it's an infinite clamp, so you can clamp it to wherever you want it to be. Generally, I make sure that the camera and the monitor are all kind of in line, so that when I pull, I'm facing wherever the play is. Because I'm not all the way up, I'm going to have some extra cable here, so I'll just kind of, usually what I do is take the cable and just kind of wrap it around the monitor, and then plug the HDMI cable in. It's the center one on the side. Hopefully this monitor has a little bit of power in it. And then this cable we take, and there is a small piece of Velcro here that I use to kind of keep this somewhat stable. You plug the 2.5 millimeter in. Usually what I do is kind of secure this to the tilt head with a little piece of Velcro. It keeps it from getting stressed. Then we take the binder clip and clamp it to the cable here, like so. And as you can see, it basically tilts the head. I'm a little bit too low, so I need to move that up a little bit, and then I will turn the camera on, hopefully. Oops. What's going on here? Sometimes you need to wiggle these, the new cable sets. It seems like it's got a certain hot spot that it makes it, that it works, and then another spot it doesn't really. So you just have to kind of tweak the cable a little bit. Sometimes you get pulling in or out just a little to make them work right. And then I've got a little extra cable here. I can just kind of drape that over like that. So I don't know if you can see all the way up, but I'm basically tilting and following the play here. This knob, you want to have it just so it's snug to where it has a little bit of resistance, but not too tight to where you can't move it. It'll just keep the play out of the monitor or the camera. Then there is, I'll turn this just a little bit. On the remote, you can see it's lit up red. If you hit the red button, it should start recording. Boy, oh boy. For some reason I've got a little bad connection on this one. And every camera is just a little bit different. Because I've used this one actually a lot of times. Oh, here we go. Here I'm trying to turn it on and off. Crazy me. Not working. So anyway, that's record. Then you got a thumb wheel to zoom in, zoom out, and the harder you push it, the faster it will zoom. You zoom in, zoom out, and then stop record. You'll hear my camera making a little beeping noise. It's kind of another indicator. The other indicator is actually on certain cameras it will flash red when it's recording. On this one it does not. I actually have, if you can see in my display, it shows recording and not. Gives the time for the battery and the time that it's recording. So that is essentially 90% of it. Also included is a monitor shroud, and this comes with Velcro that you put on the top of the monitor. I suggest you take that Velcro, the piece that peels off and sticks to the monitor, and put some Gorilla Glue on it. Otherwise, this 3M tape doesn't stick to the plastic on the top of the monitor very well. So you need to use an additional, I use Gorilla Glue, seems to work really well. Take a little damp rag, wet this up a little bit, get the Gorilla Glue on the Velcro strip. Once you peel the plastic off, obviously, or the paper off, put some Gorilla Glue on there, stick it on there. I use just some Scotch tape to hold it down for maybe an hour or so until the glue had set. Just be careful that you don't use too much glue because it does expand. And so this, I'll show you real quick here. So this, essentially, I'll go on the side here so you can probably see a little bit better. This, if you have the Velcro on the top, which the Velcro comes inside of here, take this out, stick it on. You stick the Velcro to it so it'll sit like that. And then there's also two straps that you can go around the back of the monitor and secure it as well. They go around the back of the monitor and stick to this. Okay. Also included is a little case for the monitor when you put it back into the case. The case will come as such. It's still wrapped in plastic. Inside the case is foam that is all cubed. So basically you can carve out spots for each piece of equipment that you want to put in there. And then it'll all fit nicely in there. The case obviously is to protect the monitor just a little bit more. And let's see here, what else is, that's pretty much it, I guess. So now I'll do the reverse to take it back down. So it's recording, it's turning off. So that just hit the other button, turns it off. First things first, I usually take the monitor off. So turn the monitor off. Oh, one other thing is I've included, I don't have it here right with me, but there is near the bottom here where you charge the monitor up, I've included an extra cable and an adapter to go to a 12-volt battery. Those batteries you can typically get at Home Depot, or you can get them on Amazon as well. It's a 12-volt sealed lead acid battery, and then you get a charger with that as well. And it basically gives this monitor about, I'm going to say 6 to 8 hours of running life. The battery that's in here will last about 90 minutes typically. So it's just right in the edge of a game and not. The camcorder batteries that I buy, these Wasabi Powers, they go roughly 2 hours. When they're new. As they get a little older, they cut back a little bit, but for the most part I can get a full, 2 45, 50 minute halves on with one battery. So take the HDMI cable out, wrap this around, and hopefully you can kind of set it here to where it isn't dragging on the ground. Back the little clamp off. So then take this clamp loose. Just be careful not to lose this nut because it will come out. Be careful not to lose it because the next time you come to use it and it's gone, that won't be too cool. I'm just going to kind of set this all here for now. And then next thing I usually take apart is the cabling. Take that out. And oops. So let me take that apart. All right. So this is cable. Here's the remote. Usually I just stick that back into the case. Cable set you can get kind of crafty, just keep it off the ground if you can. If it's fairly dry, it's not a big deal. But be very careful of these ends. They're very, I wouldn't say fragile, but if you get dirt inside an HDMI connector or inside the 2.5 millimeter, it just doesn't do them any good. Makes it not work. So take this, slide it up. Usually first one to pull is the pin. Pull that out. Let that first section down, clamp that down a little bit. And then you just be very careful when you let it down, because if you let go of it, it will literally fall. So just make sure you have two hands on it. Open the clamps, slide them down. Be careful not to pinch your hands in there, because it doesn't feel too nice either. Just slide this section down as you go. Once you get down to the last section here, be careful. Push it down. Open the last one. Slide the camera up. And usually I pull the HDMI connectors out of it. I usually leave the cables and this all set up together so that it's faster to set up the next time. Just use this, unscrew the camera, be sure you hang on to both pieces, and be careful again. So here's the cable set. Usually I put the camera in my case. I actually have a So to reel this back up again, you start, this one has, because it's a little longer on the control side than the HDMI side, I usually just take and put the HDMI cable around a few times, then wrap up the excess of control cable, which would just be a single line. And then get a little crafty here and try and wrap this up. And what you don't want to do is to do this number with the HDMI cable to where you're wrapping around, because what that'll do is it'll put a twist in it and it'll shorten the life of the cable. What you want to do is keep it so that it's just wind it up this way, and that will keep it from actually spinning around. So essentially this is what you're going to wind up with. It's kind of a set like that. Just be careful of these ends as well. They're, again, delicate electronic parts. And you put this into your case as well. That. Last thing you do, pull this up, put that down. Just be careful that you don't lose this pin, because without it, it makes it very difficult to record. And so this is ready to go. Assuming that you put it all in your case as you took it down. All you have to do is grab your case, your tripod, and you're out of there.